you set off on a journey, any journey, which requires teamwork, requires contributions at all levels, whether it be boardroom, whether it be laundry, on the pitch, off the pitch. What you're looking for are leaders. You've got your messages, you've got your vision, you've got a picture of the important steps along the way, you've got a picture of the culture you want to create. But what you want, if it's possible, you want people who mirror those beliefs, who mirror that culture. I was very fortunate that at that time Gordon Strachan, who was embodied everything I've just talked about, was in a position at Manchester United where he thought his career there was over. In fact, he knew it was over. He was seeking alternatives, and as I later found when I talked to him, he actually had started to believe that it was not the end, but the beginning of the end.
We got beat in a quarter-final of the FA Cup at Manchester United at home to Notts Forest. I got a knock on my door about 7:30 in the morning. And I'd been out the night before, my wife. I was a bit groggy. And there he was standing there, Sir Alex, just to inform me that I'd never play another game for the club again. Just about 7:30 in the morning. So I went back to my bed. I woke up about 9:30. And I thought it was a dream. So my two boys said, what was the manager here in the morning for? So it was time to move on. And within these conversations was that you played your last game. Middlesbrough, Sheffield Wednesday and Leeds United want to sign you. You've got to speak to Leeds first, or you don't speak to the other two. Fine, we'll get argue with you. So I took my car out to a petrol station just on the M62, the last one before you get to Leeds. I was getting picked up. Howard Wilkinson, I spoke to on the phone, said somebody will pick you up. And I thought the guy to pick me up was the groundsman who had just finished his work and just finished working on the pitch. I found out later on that day it was Mick Hinnigan, assistant manager, but Mick, I've seen better dressed ones than Mick. So then I thought, oh, right. So I've met Mick, got there, looked at the stadium, bit dilapidated on the one side. Wow, this has got to be hard work. And the club near the bottom of the championship, as we call it now.
Gordon Strachan said, I've got to go see Ron Atkinson at Sheffield Wednesday. Oh God, I said, I like to be the last one to see a player. I know what's going to happen. You're going to go there, he's a good talker, is Ron. You're going to go to Sheffield Wednesday. Oh, I says, and we need you so badly. You can do it here for us. You'll make all the difference to Leeds. Oh. He goes, I never expected him to come back.
I knew if I got him, a bit like the honey pot, the bees would gather. I knew that if I got him, not only would it be a terrific influence within the club, but it would be a marker straight away of the sort of quality we were looking for.
When I spoke to Howard, spoke to Bill, and I thought to myself, well, these guys really trust me to do a job here, because wherever I've been in football, it was like, well, sign for us and let's get on with it and see what happens. But these guys actually said to me, we need you to do this for us, because if we don't do this next 2 or 3 years, then we're in real trouble here at the club.
I used all my powers of persuasion, including money, to sell the story to him, to convince him that, this wasn't the end of his career, but the start of another one. And fortunately enough, he said yes. And the rest is history.
Matter of fact, I went to speak to Sheffield Wednesday and I said to Ron Atkinson, he offered me everything he could. And I said to him, listen, I need to go to Leeds. And he understood that. So I didn't even go to Middlesbrough. I phoned Bruce Rioch up and said, don't bother, I've just got to come here.
He said, I've made my mind up. I'd like to come, Mr. F. He used to call me Mr. F. I'd like to come and join you, he says. I think you're going places. Well, that was it.
The next Sheffield Wednesday manager signing a Man United player, but Strachan was Strachan at that point, and I can't remember any sort of ill feeling towards him, which normally there might have been. I think everybody was enthusiastic, and I think it was a mark as well. It was, wow, You know, he obviously has heard something he believes in about where we might be going. It was a real sign of intent, I thought.
People talk about missing pieces of the jigsaw, and half the time it felt like Strachan was the whole jigsaw, because he was able to see things nobody else on the pitch on either side could see. He was the whole rounded finished article, and he did pull the players around him. They raised their standards. They were better players because they knew they had this fulcrum that they were able to run the ball through. You know, you could get it to him, he would do something that would take the team forward. If the kind of apocryphal long ball didn't work, then there was a plan B to go to. And that's what I think made Leeds different to a lot of sides, because clearly anyone can kick from hand at a 6'5" centre forward and play off knockdowns and set pieces. And a lot of teams did at that point. But Leeds always had the ability to, when the ball dropped, to give it to Strachan, for him to get his head up and spot different opportunities, but also go forward himself, so in and around the box, as we saw. And he was just as deadly as any other player that Leeds had.
Gordon Strachan's the best footballer I've ever played with. Like I say, I got injured. I retired early, but you know, I had 4.5 years with Gordon, and he was the best footballer I have ever played with. And you know, half time, he used to come in at half time, and you know, he used to point a finger. He used to tell you, and he'd give you a rollicking, and you knew he'd had a rollicking. Sometimes you just leave it. The manager just used to leave it to Gordon, and you knew, and you know, in the second half you'd produce the goods, and but it'd give you another bollocking at full time, because saying, why didn't you do that in the first half? So you could win with Gordon.
He was most definitely the leader, purely in the way he went about his business. Monday to Friday was the big, you know, I thought I was 25, I think, at the time. So I'd been around a wee bit and played with some good players, but Strachan was on another level. You know, he'd come from Manchester United. People thought he was, you know, he was just coming here to retire. No, his fitness was awesome. His touch, for 2 or 3 seasons, Gordon was unplayable and probably one of the best players in Britain, you know, at 35. So, and it's no coincidence that Gary Speed, David Batty and myself all played up over 35 years of age at good level. That's purely down to working alongside Gordon, you know, and watching how he was so committed in his training from Monday to Friday, you know, and training at that intensity and able to play on a Saturday at that intensity. And all three of us alongside him, I think we all learned from him.
We all did, you know, looked up to him, you know, and I mean, I'm not joking. I've seen 19, 20-year-olds didn't train the way Strack did. I mean, it was... Oh.
If someone was asking me, how did you prepare to be a footballer? Well, it was playing in the streets, just hours and hours and hours. And I was asking, how did you get so fit? Well, I had a milk run when I was a kid from 6 o'clock in the morning, about 8:15. I used to run all the time. Then I used to run to school, on my back for school, run all the time. So, and then I trained hard through my career, done this, done that. So eventually I'll end up at this game.
The final home league game.
It was one of them games where, you know, the expression, you couldn't hear yourself think. The noise and the crowd and the tension were unbelievable.
The Leicester keeper, Martin Hodge, came out afterwards and said he couldn't hear his players. He couldn't communicate with his back four because it was so loud. And that was one of those games you felt the cop roof was going to come down because it was so loud. And Leeds had a host of chances. You can see on the video, but it doesn't really emphasise how much in control of that game the club was. Should have been out of sight it should have been 3-4-0 up at half time.
Martin Hodge was their keeper. He saved everything, and of course eventually became a coach at Leeds, and I used to get into it. I said, that day, you saved the kitchen sink and everything.
Sterling scored a great goal. Sterling had a great game as well. Leeds were really pressing across a number of different fronts, and it felt like a matter of time. And then, of course, Leicester equalised, and you could have heard a pin drop. There were about 1,000 Leicester fans in Pen 5 on the low fields going berserk, because why wouldn't you want to, you know, mess up a team like Leeds' promotion chances? The momentum then swung back to Leeds following the save from Gary McAllister by Mervyn Day. I don't think Leeds could have come back from going 2-1 down in that game. I mean, it's all ifs, buts and maybes. But if you look at how the momentum had rolled against them in the Barnsley game, you know, if they'd been 2-1 down, did they have the strength of character to get back and win that match? Who knows? And then we all know what happened at the other end.
Everything I'd done up to that point, as a footballer, as a person, it seemed like it was all that practice was for that day, and the second half in particular. That I had to drive guys on to places they've never been to before. Leicester were a good side. The expectation was high. The thought of drawing or losing was horrific. So every kind of training session I'd done throughout my career, I must have been about 33 at the time, was for that game.
Sterling, again it'll be towards Chapman, headed out, and now McAllister back from Strachan, here's Strachan again! Have you ever seen a better goal? And have you ever seen one better timed?
On the TV, the ball gets cleared out really quickly and Strachan just lashes it straight back in. But again, certainly from my perspective now, and this is my imagination playing tricks on me, but it seemed to be a lot slower at the actual moment. And then the ball, and then there was almost a feeling of, did we see that? Did that happen? Is somebody trying to play tricks on us? And then this huge outpouring of emotion. The Kop at that point was absolutely heaving full, and it just exploded. There's no other way to describe it. It literally exploded, as if a kind of human bomb had gone off.
And I've got to say that when I scored, I can still feel that. I know how it feels like in my life. I can still feel it sometimes.
You can still feel that kicking the ball.
Just feel the on your left foot. Yeah, it's like it's not like it's like a caress. I've got to say that I was drained at that point. I remember running back and thinking, this is it. This is, we've got 10 minutes or something to go here, and have to keep going. Somehow have to keep going. So drained, absolutely drained. But as I said, it was worth all the training sessions and falling down and getting up again just for that moment.
When I've been at Gordon's house quite a few times, you know, you think about all the you know, what he's done, World 11 and all the, you know, teams he's played with, Man United and Aberdeen and all this. And yeah, he has this photograph of him just after he scored that goal, like that. And I think to him that was one of the most precious moments, one of the best goals he'd ever scored. But then, of course, he doesn't just stop there, right? So we come in and we won 2-1. I mean, at that point, the crowd are all running up pitch and thinking you're trying to get them off because you didn't want to get them abandoning, you know. But then we all get back in dressing room, and at this point, Newcastle are still playing. Vinnie Jones all of a sudden comes in. Lads, Newcastle have drawn, we're up. Well, at that point, some of the lads were actually half crying. You know, you could see tears coming down.
Yeah, that was a bit of a strange one.
Oh, what a nugget. Yeah, I could have killed him if I had a machine gun.
Do we lose or draw at home or something? We'd gone in and I said, someone had told me on the way in that Sheffield had lost or something like that, and it was an absolute cock-up because I'd gone in and I'd gone, no, they've lost. Someone just told me, Vinny, so-and-so's lost. So the lads are like, wait, and then it come in and put the radio on and said that. That was bizarre, that was. I don't know why someone told me that Sheffield had lost or Newcastle had won or something like that.
So me and Mervyn were hugging each other, tears for Mervyn, and then he comes, no, that's not right. He's all, oh, Jesus.
Of course, we're all looking for Vinny then, like. I'd imagine you're all looking for him then, like, you know, oh, take that, where's that Jonesy, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
The journey back, I sat at the front of the bus, people were singing and dancing at the back, having a few beers. I was at the front on my tour because I just wanted to take it in. It was a nice night, and I remember it was a lovely night, and travelling through the countryside, coming back, taking everything in and going, yep, we're all right now. We can chuck it now if we feel. I can chuck football now. I've done something that's really, you know, somebody had asked me to achieve it, and I got there. It sucks you in. The enthusiasm of the whole town sucks you in. You're friends for life. Most people think that football players don't like meeting fans. I love it. So I've always got this link with Leeds fans. Wherever I go in the world, it's always a good talking point. And people bump into you and go, I'm a Leeds fan. Oh, very good.
Strachan, I imagine, hugely had a point to prove to a lot of people, both at Old Trafford and in the wider football world. You can argue a lot of the other players were, well, you know, why the hell not? And Leeds are a big club. But for Strachan, I think especially, he was the one who, even more than the previous season, seemed to make things tick.
Good chance for cross now. No one in a rush to block him off. Chapman's there, and so's Wally.
That was a powerful, impressive performance that night at Villa Park, and probably one of the best games I've ever played in.
I can remember it vividly because the preparation in the week was intense.
His preparation games was incredible. The set plays and things we did, and it bored the backside of everybody, but we had to do it. We really had to do it. It was too much for David Batty. David couldn't concentrate, so Howard used to give him a ball and boot it away and let me just go down and kick balls in the back of the net down the other end of the pitch, where the rest of us got on with. But it was tiring. I remember because we were an all-action outfit. It was tiring because of the set plays, which are an hour and a half sometimes. That the whole thing was tiring. We're meticulous in what we did. You know, if you didn't know the team on the Friday, Howard, it didn't have right. Everybody come in on Saturday morning, and we'd be in at 9 o'clock for a 3 o'clock kick-off. We'd go out and train, we'd go and do the set plays before the youth team come out. So it was a long day for us at times, you know.
That was a fantastic game for the players because it brought everything that we were trying to do. It all happened in one game. You've identified set pieces, but the way I wanted them to press, and they did press, and then the way that we were very quick into counter-attack on regain, getting the ball, you know, into the attacking third and playing with purpose. You do get games where it all comes together, and that was one of them. In
that game, thinking, everybody here seemed to be able to run like the wind today. Nothing can stop us. Just have the freedom in our play. And we scored the corner kick as well, that what people have been trying to do for the last 25 years now. So I don't want to see on TV, someone say, oh, he's come away with a new one. Nah, done 25 years ago that. And I've seen another one that Aberdeen did the other day, the brand new, they scored against Bayern Munich with that one. That's not new either.
The set piece routine, the corner routine, is straight off the training ground. So loads of practice, you know, the timings of it, you know, and then as Gordon dives back in and the little back heel happens, there's a real sign of relief that it's worked. And then obviously you're looking for the icing on the cake. Gordon drives across the byline, and no surprise it was Chappie who bundled it over the line, because he just wanted to score gold. And as you say, I've watched that goal back a few times over the years, and as Gordon dives back in and drives across the byline, we must have 5-6 players in the box, all looking to score. And the celebration was brilliant at the end where the Leeds fans were. I don't know whose idea it was. I think it was one of Gordon's, but it worked brilliantly that day.
That day, everything clicks. And then I think that was a point where I thought, yeah, we're really a good team. I never thought there was real pressure on us to win it. I didn't think anybody thought you must win it like you get with some clubs, some big clubs. I think everybody was starting to say, listen, we're really happy with what's going on here, we're really happy with what we're seeing, we're really happy with it's generating Leeds in the Leeds area, and the whole place sprung into action. I think the football team kicked everything off in that area, so I think we were all enjoying what we were doing. So I don't think we ever sort of said we'll have to win the league. They got to the point where some people thought, well, they can win the league. As I went to the Holiday Inn because my wife and the kids wanted to go up there a bit of swimming, and I thought there's no point in going home. We'll just sit there and pan. You might as well let the kids splash about. Then I got there and I thought I'm not going to splash about, which I should have because I was a bit tired for the game. And I sat away in the lounge and I said to the kids, don't speak to me till the game's finished. Do not say anything to me. So I sat there for 90 minutes plus, having cups of tea, Coca-Cola. And and then they only come in when it went 2-0 Liverpool. They went 2-0 Liverpool, didn't it? Yeah. And next minute, somebody for the Yorkshire Evening Post turns up with a bottle of champagne. How do you know I was here? Anyway, so I wasn't with the rest of the lads. And then I went home. We went home, sat, had a cup of tea, did it. And then we thought, we've got to walk up to Martin Goldman's, because he wasn't far away. But I thought, we've got to pass Leslie Silver's house. I thought, pop in and see her, because she's been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Because I keep seeing clubs now in turmoil. And why they're in turmoil? Because the man at the top is not the right leader. Doesn't set standards. Allows bad habits. Leslie Silver was different. Set standards. What's other way done? We just sat there and talked about how it all started three years ago. And I said, need to go now. No problem. So I just left the two of them, him and his missus sitting there. And he was just, I think he was like me when I was talking about Bournemouth. When I was coming back from Bournemouth, I just sat myself at the front of the bus, watching the countryside and a lovely night. I think I know exactly how he felt. He didn't want to spoil that moment with drinking and shouting and screaming and champagne. I just think he wanted to just sit and take it all in. So I empathise with him on that one, yeah. It was a great time where everything comes together, the perfect storm, it all happened. But it didn't just kind of fall into place, it was set off by Leslie Silver, then Bill Ford getting Hal Wilkinson and making sure he got the right players in. So it has to be just right. It has to be just right. You have to have people driving you on to do your best.
And they've waited an awful long time for this, haven't they? Goal.
People always ask me about the biggest, best player ever at Leeds United. I said, well, the most influential player was definitely Gordon Strachan during that period, because he got brought in together out of that second division. And what he did after that, the year after that, where going back into the top division again, they thought, oh well, he's probably dead, because he was 32 years old, I think, was Gordon when he came into Leeds. And I thought, well, after that, like he did. But no, the year after that, he actually won the Sports Writers Player of the Year. And the year after that, we won the First Division Championship. And because he looked after himself that well, he was the oldest player ever to play in the Premiership at 40 years old. The first player at 40 to play in the Premiership.
For what we created within our own environment, for everybody cared about Leeds. As you say, we don't care, we're Leeds. I think we should be the only ones who are really interested in what happened. Because I don't care what anybody else thinks about Norwich, Grimsby, Man United. I really don't care. What we created between us, everybody, don't worry about what anybody else thinks. We created something that lives in our memory forever. So if you do that, you're not really interested in anybody else. You're only interested in people who really want you to do well. So and it's been a mantra. I mean, even with the people saying Scotland, this guy thinks that. I don't care. He's not a Scotland fan. I don't care. He's not a Celtic fan. I'm only interested in the group of people I work for. And for the group of people I work with, for the staff at Leeds, and anybody who supported Leeds at that time, that's all I care about. I care nothing else, and we shouldn't be worried about, does anybody appreciate us? Don't really care, because I've appreciated teams that weren't as good as us, and weren't as honest as us, never spent as much money as us. So it doesn't really matter. As I said to you, what really matters, no matter where I go in the world, if I meet a Leeds fan, somebody taps me on the shoulder, well done Gordon, really enjoyed it, you go, brilliant. That doesn't get any better, and vice versa. Hopefully if somebody meets me, that gets their memory going back to their days. So that's all you're interested in. See, people ask me, where's your medals, where's your things, where's your strips? You come in the suits as well, there's no strips, there's no medals, there's nothing. But I've got that in my head, and every time I meet a Leeds fan, it comes back again. So I replay that every time I meet a Leeds fan. I replay different games, I replay everything. I replay a laugh that Mel Stilling's done or something Vinny's done. That replays in my head, so it's a continued loop, and it might get something else might get chucked into that loop. Then some Leeds fan will come up, you've mentioned a couple of things this morning, I went, oh, is that right? Because you asked me about a semi-final against Man, I forgot all about that. Probably because we got beat, that's why I forgot all about that. So this is my thanks now for these days, because every time I meet a Leeds fan, then I go into this.